Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Connected Yoga Teacher Live. Hi, Alex. Thanks for being here today.
Hi, Shannon. Thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
I'm really excited that we get to dive in and talk about getting our yoga online. That's a big thing right now, but also into some detailed questions from our yoga teachers. And so, if you're here for the replay, make sure you still post your questions in the comments because we will come back to them. Uh, for those of you who don't know you. For those of us who don't know you, Eddie or Alex, I was going to say Eddie. Eddie's following along in the comments. Another person from OfferingTree. Tell us, what is the work that you do and who do you do it for?
Yeah. So I'd say in a nutshell, the work that we do is what I like to describe as trying to build the middle class of health and wellness. So um, many of you have probably noticed that there's been, a whole bunch of hype and other stuff around like Peloton and iFit and all these like super fancy, and it's all about, this sort of like godlike figure sitting in a studio in New York with like lights shining, and for me that's not my reality. So I think of that as sort of like the 1% of the health and wellness space where they're blasting to millions. Offering Tree is all about supporting teachers in communities that are out there day to day trying to help with health and wellness and healing and trying to make it accessible, affordable. We're set up as a public benefit corporation, so we really try to fulfill our mission by helping um, yoga teachers, meditation teachers, health coaches, massage therapists, you name it. We try to help them have a sustainable business and earn a livelihood that supports them doing what they love and being able to help others. So I sometimes describe us as like we're the wiring and the plumbing that you never want to see. So you just want to be confident that when you turn on the light goes on, or that when you turn the faucet on in your apartment or your house, the water comes out. That's us. We want to be in the background. You want to trust that we work, and you never want to see us, because whenever you see the wiring and the plumbing, it's like, oh no, something really bad just happened. So that's our aspiration, yeah, that's who we serve. So we serve yoga teachers, meditation teachers, health coaches, massage therapists, dance instructors, kind of across the board.
That's amazing. Okay, so I want to clarify that the team at Offering Tree, we definitely want to see you. I have chatted with most people from your team, and you're definitely not like the plumbing or the wiring. Your team isn't. Just to clarify, that's like all the behind the scenes, the websites, everything that allows your Zoom to integrate and make all of the tech happen. We just put a workshop together with Tristan Katz and put it all on Offering Tree. So I feel like I'm very familiar with how smoothly it worked in terms of Zoom. I was like, oh, I only have to click one button and I can make this all happen, which was really great.
Yeah.
So you're also a meditation teacher.
Yes. And that's part of the origin of Offering Tree. So I appreciate the clarification, because it actually ties into my story and sort of the origin of the company. So I was trained as a meditation teacher. I wasn't trained as somebody who does a lot of tech or web design or app development or any of that. And I was running into a common problem. I had been trained to teach. I had gone through multiple trainings. I had gone through all kinds of different professional development. But what I hadn't learned was the technology and the business side. And so, as I was talking with some very smart colleagues of mine that know the technology and the app development, they said, "Oh, this is a solvable problem. We can do this." And that was sort of the origin of Offering Tree, was trying to really solve these common problems that we were hearing from studios and teachers. And the idea was that we could be in the background, so that you wouldn't have to feel like you had to become the plumber or you had to become the electrician. And so that's what I meant about my comment earlier, is that we try to make it as seamless and easy for you to use, so that you never have to dive into the wiring or the plumbing and figure out, which with some things you do, right? If you've ever used WordPress, it's sort of like you have to become that web developer. You have to know all this coding and plugins and how it works and searching. Our system, you don't need any plugins. It just works. So that's our hope, is to make it as simple as easy on the front end for you, but in the back end, the team's doing a lot of the plumbing and the wiring that you never see. So
It's really exciting. I also want to say, like, I've seen so many updates as
Yeah.
well, and you have a big update coming up really soon that has to do with the design
Yep.
of people's website. Can you
Yep.
tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I can actually, I can show you a little sneak preview. I'm sure the engineering team might be like, "What is he doing?" Because I'm showing you a real live, it's on our development site, but I can show you basically the mechanics of it because we're super excited about it. It basically unlocks a lot of really cool new design possibilities and allows you to really build it to meet your needs in a way that hopefully doesn't feel really overwhelming, which I think a lot of platforms, it can feel daunting. And so, yeah, I'd be happy to show that if you're interested in seeing it.
That'd be great. We'll
Yeah.
pull it up here. Thank you for giving us the sneak peek.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though your team might be like, "What is he doing?"
That's what I do. I tend to push the envelope a little bit because I'm the non-techie. So I'm like, oh, it's great. They're like, we're still testing it. So this will be coming out pretty imminently here. So just to orient everybody, this is kind of the website, and you can see it's got this nice little parallax scrolling, which is a fancy term for when the image moves as you scroll. So it kind of looks like it's a live, website. And this is what students would see, or students or clients would see if they were coming to your site. This is an OfferingTree site. It's got your schedule, and you can add a bunch of text. You can add as many pages as you want. You can customize the colors, the font, the images, sort of all of that is you can change. And the one thing that we had been getting a lot of feedback was that, oh, we love the system, but we want a few more design options. And so that's what we've really been working hard on. And so if I go into the back end of the system, so this is sort of the back end, and we have it organized in hopefully a pretty intuitive way. We have everything around a website. So if you're using us to basically build and host your website, that's this section. You don't have to use us to build and host your website. You can embed everything, all of the features into another website if you have another website. And then we have everything around scheduling, everything around communications, and then a whole bunch around payments. So packages, memberships, online stores, and discounts. So the feature improvement that we're working on, and I'll show you the sneak peek if I go to pages, the way it's set up right now is you can create as many custom pages as you want. You can turn them on and off. And it's a drag and drop system. So if I want to reorder them, I just move it up and drag it. And as soon as I go back to my site, you'll see that it put it in a different order. So it's really that quick. It's just a drag and drop system. And the new feature is that when I go hit create a page, it pulls up this little template option. And now I get this option to like see templates that I can customize or build my own. So here's a template. Once I select this, I now have a whole bunch of really new cool options. I can add in special metadata for SEO and searching. I can start to customize by just like clicking on, let's say, I want to change this button color, for example. I can click on the button. I can click edit, and it gives me a whole bunch of options around that button. Like, let's say I want to make it an outline and I want to change the color and I want to make it, let's say, red, for example. I can do that. And then once I go ahead and hit confirm, you'll see that it updates that button just like that. So this is sort of like, and if I wanted to say center the button, I could go down here and say, I want that button to be in the center. And I actually want it to be a fully red button rather than just an outline. And then I can go ahead and hit confirm. And there's that beautiful red button. So I can now get into the system and design all of these different things. And the idea is we're going to have these templates so that you can replace and edit. And, if you wanted to add testimonials. So it just unlocks a whole bunch of new design options that we're super excited about. So
This is very exciting. Oh my goodness, I love it because I know how satisfying it can be to get your brand colors or to make a button color match some like the picture that you have or to really have that freedom to play around. And I also want to say I appreciate how simple it is, like this drag and drop. um, these are the things to really focus on. I feel like that's something your company offers to yoga teachers. If they don't have a website at all, uh, to make it very simple to get their offerings up there, because that's really the purpose of a website is that someone will visit, get to know you, and then sign up for your offerings.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I would say that our main goal is really to try to make it as simple and seamless for you as we can. And so I like to think of it as sort of like it's our emotional promise. We want to help you move from feeling completely overwhelmed to feeling confident in under 30 minutes. And that's our goal. Like, that's our goal. And, of course, you need to know what you want to say and how you want to say it. But on the technology side, we want to really empower you so you can look at this and say, this is awesome. Like, I like the look of this. I like how it's got all the features I need. And I didn't have to spend hours or a ton of money to get it to look that way. So that's the hope.
That's amazing. I wonder if anyone who's here live has any questions, or if you're here for the replay, let us know. Alex is here to answer those questions, and we had a couple of questions sent in. So Mary had said, is there a way to set up a one-time package? I want to set up an introductory package that's only available to new students and then disappears from the package offering list once it's been used. How can I offer a free class? Oh, that's a second question, maybe. So we'll just do this one. Is there a way to set up that one-time package?
Yeah, so there is a way. We currently don't have a one-time purchase package option, but there's a couple of ways to sort of achieve the same thing. And one of the things I will say, just to echo what Shannon was just naming, which is like, this is your chance. So if you have questions, or like, this is, I really want to see something like this, or no system does this, please put them in the chat, because myself and the other co-founders are here, we're listening, and all the features that we develop are based on feedback from the community. So if you see something that you're like, wow, they did a really good job on that, that's because we got feedback from the community that said they really wanted it. And that's how we do all of our development. It's all based on community feedback. So we really try to listen before we act. And so to answer the question about the introductory, like a one-time package, what you can do, there's a couple of ways that you can find an approach, even though we don't have a one-time package, is you can either set up a discount code. So we allow discount codes that allow for, you get like 100% off, and you can apply it to like one class or maybe multiple classes, and you can set the use for that to be one time. So it'll only allow that person to use that discount code once, and it allows them to. The advantage of that approach is it allows them to then use it on multiple offerings if you want that option, or you can restrict it to use it only on one offering. And I'd say that's the most common approach to doing that. And so you can just say, hey, here's a special discount code you can use to sign up for this class or anything else you want them to sign up for. That's probably the easiest approach.
Yeah, and I want to say we just used this. We did this with scholarships. I know you have another way to do like tiered pricing or
Yep.
pay what you can in there, which I really appreciate, which I think I would try next time. But what I love about the discount code is you can go in and edit how many times you can add the expiration date as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Do
And I can
did you
pull
want to
that up
show
so you
this?
can see it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
That's so easy.
Yes.
And then you can delete them or hide them, and you can see when someone has used this. We used this with the team this weekend to really see, okay, who did go in and use
Yep.
their code? Who do we have to email back again?
Yep.
Just to remind them. Yeah,
So
that's
each of
great.
these had like this little dashboard will give you details about if it's been used. So like if I look at this code, nobody used it. And then if I look at, I don't know if I have any in here where somebody's used one. I don't think I have, actually, since this is my testing site. But if somebody's used it, it'll show you when they used it, where they used it when you click on this detail information. The other thing it'll do is you can see I set an automatic expiration date. So I don't have to remember to turn that coupon code off. I can actually go into this and it'll, so this is all of the settings, and I can set that expiration date and it'll automatically shut off. So the advantage is, like, if you're doing a seasonal promotion or you're doing a one-time thing and you don't want to have to remember to like go back in, you can just set that expiration date and it'll shut off. And then you have a whole bunch of options here. Again, we try to make it, we allow for a lot of flexibility, but we try to guide you in how you can set it up. So you can set it as a percentage off or a price amount off. You can set the number of times it can be used by a single client or student. So if I only want them to use it once, I would set it once. If I want to limit the total number of times that somebody could use a coupon, like let's say I've got 20 free spots or 20 scholarships, or the first 20 people to sign up get this special pricing, then I can limit the number of times the coupon can be used in aggregate. And what's really powerful about this is that you can mix and match. So you can say each person can use this code twice, but the total number that the discount code can be used is 40. So you can create this really powerful mixture on whatever you want to do. And then down here, you just choose what do you want it to apply to. Do you want it to apply to none of your offerings, all of your offerings? If you choose specific offerings, you can select only certain things. Like I only want it to be for my mindfulness offerings. Can you use it as a discount on buying a package? Nope, you can. Or yes, all packages or only certain packages. So we allow for a lot of flexibility by trying to guide you through the options about what you might want to set.
That's amazing. Thank you for showing us the visual of that. That's so helpful.
Mhm.
Uh, let's get to Mary's other question. How can I offer a free class? I tried setting the price at 0, but the system requires at least $1 payment.
Yeah, so you can do a free class. We do allow the option you can have registration without needing to take payment. So if you know that it is a free class, I would just say take the payment option off. If you want it to be a free slot for somebody to be able to sign up, then I would say make it a paid class, but then give them a discount code. So then you get to have it be a paid class, and then you can still offer free seats to first-time clients or students.
Okay, that's great. A couple of things there. Thank you for those questions, Mary. Oh, yeah, Mary had another question. Is there or will there be an OfferingTree app? And we talked about this, and I love your answer to this, Alex. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So we get this question a lot, and full disclosure, our development team, they're all app developers, so they love apps. In fact, they're like, we would much rather be programming apps than programming some of the website stuff. Again, they're probably like, why is he saying that? But it's the truth. So I can show you this on the site. So I'll just show you what it looks like. It's going to look a little messy because I'm using a hidden feature in Chrome, but this will be fun for your users. If you ever want to see what something looks like on a mobile app, you can actually do this in your Chrome browser. Actually, almost any browser will let you do it, Safari or Firefox, but there's this hidden feature. If I click into Chrome and I go down to More Tools and I click on Developer Tools, it'll actually render this like it's on a phone. So I can actually test and see what it looks like. So if you look at how we have this set up, it runs as though it's mobile friendly, basically, right? And so I can interact with all of this content, like my video library and course library, just natively. Well, not natively. It's rendered as a mobile responsive site so that it works like this. And so one of the questions that we get is around the app. My follow-up question is always, what do you want the app to do? Like, what do you need the app to do that this mobile responsive site can't already do? And so that would be my next follow-up question, which is like, what do you need the app to do that we don't currently do? And then that helps us figure out the next steps of what we're going to build and develop. And we do have, it is in our development timeline to roll out a new app because our team is so app friendly. They love working on them. So that is in our kind of development. But we want to get really specific, listening to the community first about what is it you want, so that we make sure that we include it. So that would be my follow-up question, and I would say feel free to post that in the chat because that'll help us. So thank you.
This is one thing I really want to highlight. I've worked with a lot of different companies. My brother is a software engineer. And I always look for the companies who are actually listening to the customers. I Amanda McKinney, who you know well because you also work with Amanda McKinney, laughs at me because I'm like, where's their phone number or where's the chat box? Like, I want to talk to somebody from the company. And I realize not everyone is like that, but I appreciate that if I send over an email or pop something in the chat, that I will get a response like, okay, great idea. We'll add it to the list. And that doesn't mean that we get everything we want right away, but it means that everyone kind of gets to vote and you look at, okay, what are people asking for the most? This is really important in a company. And I would encourage all of our teachers, whether you're working with OfferingTree or a different company, see how much they're listening to this. See how much they're listening to your feedback, for sure. Uh, all right, there was another question. Christy West, this is an example of someone saying, here's what I wish was there. Christy West was saying, like, I've been using OfferingTree and love it so much. Here's my wish list. Click through rate on emails, second email to those who don't open the first, and the ability to transfer registration from one event to another.
Mm.
So any thoughts on those, Alex?
Yeah, so those are great. So I can say our big push initially was to add in some of these new design features, and our next big push is going to be around the sort of communication functionality, because we have a lot of this stuff built in. And so even like the idea of how do I have the registrations from this event transfer to that, and so we get a lot of requests. I actually had another user recently ask the same thing, like, I have this and I want to transfer the registrations over here, how do I do it? And so I love those suggestions, and I'm glad you share them. And Eddie, if you're listening, I hope you're taking notes, because this is literally what we do. We get support requests, we hear things, and then we prioritize what we're going to build next. And I think that our one of our big visions is we want to be able to have everything be in one spot, so you feel like when you go in, you're like, oh, that's really cool. They thought about that, and I was just thinking I might need to use that. So the system is growing with you as you continue to get more sophisticated in what you need. The other thing we try to do is that, like, if you don't need something, you just turn it off and it's there when you need it. So then you can turn it on when you're ready, but you can turn it off when you don't need it. And so a lot of the system is set up that way. And I could show you an example. Like, we have a blogging capability where if you don't blog, I can show you this. So if I go into the pages section, like, the blog is turned on right now. So if I go to the site, it'll show blog. And if I click on it, it'll have a little blog post here. But if I said, that feels a little intimidating, I'm not quite ready to use that, I can turn off the blog. And as soon as I go back to the site, it's gone. So it's that quick. Like, when I'm ready to say, I want to start blogging, I can go right back into the system. I can turn this on and I can start adding blogs. Same thing with store, with membership, with video, whatever you're adding, the system is meant to scale with you. And so I'd say in terms of that next phase, yeah, please put in ideas about, like, the, follow-up emails and analytics, and, being able to track more. We did recently add, maybe this is something, I don't know if everyone has seen this, even if you're an OfferingTree user, it's kind of cool. Let me go back and show you a different date, so I can pull up one that has some registrations. Okay, so here's an example. So, like, if I found one that has a registration, if I click on this, it'll pull up the dashboard. And we added this new feature where if you click here on the person's name, it shows you everything that they've interacted with. So you can see, like, well, what did they purchase? Oh, they've purchased a couple of packages. Did they purchase a membership? Yep, they purchased a membership. What have they registered for? Okay, well, nothing recently. But if I go back in time, let me see, what did they register for? Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff they registered for here. Oh, that's interesting. And then, store purchases, and you can even see when they signed their waiver. So if you ever needed to know that, it's all there. So this is where we got a request of saying, I need to see more information about, what are people doing? How are they engaging? So being able to provide more of that is one of our big visions for the next phase.
That's amazing. I know, just looking around there, one of the features I love is that I can decide if the fees, like the payment fees, are going to go, if I'm going to pass those on to my customer or if I'm going to absorb those payment fees. And then I can see exactly what I'm making after the fees. And that's something I haven't found in any other course or membership platform that I've used anyway. And I've used a few now. I'm wondering if our people who are here live, first of all, I have a couple of questions for you. Like, do you have a website? Share it in the comments if you have a website and you want us to check it out. That's one thing that OfferingTree, I already have an existing WordPress website, but I love that it also integrates so that we could have Zoom integration and have people sign up and pay right through the platform with limited clicking and going around. I didn't have to create a PayPal link and I actually did a bit of testing. I didn't tell you about this, Alex, but I thought, how many people are going to want to pay through PayPal because they're used to it? And so on our last registration page, I left it there. One person paid through PayPal, 18 other people didn't. And it's so much simpler to leave it all on OfferingTree. I was like, why did I decide to do that? Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because we initially started out with using a company, and depending on when you joined OfferingTree, you may still be using the service. It was a PayPal like payment company processor. But we ran into so many issues that we actually migrated over to Stripe. We actually took all the development time to say, we're going to go over to Stripe because it was having issues with international payments. And there were just all these little things that we were running into. And we decided that from a user experience, it wasn't meeting our customers' needs. And so it was painful, but we actually switched from using PayPal. And we've had really good experiences with Stripe. We even, one thing I appreciate about them, and we have no connection with them. It's not like we're getting any kind of like, hey, promote us and you'll get this whatever cash back. There's no connection that we have other than we just use them as a payment processor. But what I do appreciate is that there were some news articles that had come out where people had written about, Stripe seems to be involved and somehow like tangentially related to some controversial groups. And so I emailed Stripe and said, I just heads up, like, this is not okay. Like, we will leave you if you don't address this. Like, can you speak to this issue? I read this news article. And within 5 minutes, they wrote back and they said, yep, here's the information on that. That's not inaccurate. And I can tell you, this is how we stop this. This is our procedure. This is our policy. So similar to how we aspire to respond, have real human beings that like get back when somebody raises a real concern, they did that for us. We didn't have that experience with PayPal. So for what it's worth, that's just one person's experience. But
I appreciate that you're looking at the values of things. And this is something that I realized right away when I talked with you and your team when we first connected, which is quite a while ago now, is that I realized that our values are very much aligned because anyone who knows me knows I'm pretty passionate about social justice and the 8 limbs of yoga and really taking care of each other in our community. And so I appreciate that you went the extra step and asked the questions. I'm curious if anyone here in the comments has questions about websites, courses, online yoga, memberships overall, because Alex works with a lot of yoga teachers who are doing all of these things and who were forced to move a lot of yoga online in a hurry. And also, what would be on your wish list? You can share it in the comments, whether you use OfferingTree or something else for your websites. I know, or for your online offerings. I know some yoga teachers who are still teaching on social media and using Venmo. And I would love to encourage you to really check things out and ask the questions here for sure.
And I'll put in the, just while we're doing this, I'll put in the chat. Here's a link for a download. This is something that was created recently to ask some of the tough questions. And so that link will just automatically download it to you. It's a little PDF. So if you click it, it'll download it directly to your computer. Just you'll have to check your download folder. But when you open it, it's got questions by categories that you should ask any company, whether it's us or anybody else. And one of the things that I've seen recently, which is kind of heartbreaking. So we've been around for I think coming on 6 years. But I would say in the last year, there was just a flurry of startups that were getting tons of venture capital money to just springboard into the space and grow as quickly as they can and kind of the rocket ship to the moon. And, one of the things that I really didn't like was that oftentimes they were not being fully transparent about the fees and the costs. So there were like service fees that were being passed on to students that teachers didn't know about that were getting charged so that the company could be in the middle and get additional, like, you should know what all the fees are. If there's some kind of like shenanigans going on like that, I mean, this gets back to the sort of values, like we don't do that. We basically will say like, here's this, here's this. We want you to be able to make an informed choice. And if you have questions about it, please let us know, because we're not trying to have any gotchas. Like, we're going to trick you into using us so that, we can achieve some venture capital number of growth and sell the company for billions of dollars. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's been frustrating because there have been all these like pop-up things in the last year. I think given, the interest, once people realized that there was this huge push to get everyone online, to what Shannon was saying, it sort of became this gold rush for venture capital companies, and I mean that in all of its loaded sense. Like, the negative history of the gold rush, it literally was like that, and it's frustrating. So that's why I say use this sheet. It's not totally complete, but it'll be a starter to ask some of the critical questions you should ask us. You should ask other companies.
That's really great. Thank you so much for that. Also, Jennifer, thanks for sharing this comment. I absolutely love OfferingTree. They're so helpful. Always respond back to my emails. This is what I hear over and over again. Also, Tiana, thank you for sharing your website in our Facebook group chat. And I'd encourage other people to share your website. Tell us also what's on your wish list. Let me get to one other. Antelope Yoga says, I've been asked to host ticketing on my website for a class I teach at a brewery. I do not have the first idea where to start. Any thoughts on this, Alex?
Yeah, so I could share some thoughts on it. So you could definitely use OfferingTree if you wanted to. You would just set up, whatever the event is, whether it's like a brewery event or something else, and you could have people just you could have different tickets, which is sort of like our sliding scale feature. So you could have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then people have to choose one of those tickets, and then they could register. And I could show you actually. Let me see if I can pull up an example of one here that has it. It'll take me just a second, and you'll see how quickly in real time I can do this. This will be a good test. So if I scheduled a new event, is this like yoga at a brewery? Is that the example? Let's see if I can.
I believe it is, but Antelope Yoga, clarify if you can. Is it
Okay.
yoga?
All right. So let me add. What I'll do is I'll say this is like a flow class. So I could say, it's a flow class. It's starting on, let's say, the 14th. I'll have it start in the evening at like 5 p.m. You would set the time that you need. It's an in-person event, I'm assuming. So I'll just assume it's an in-person event. You could set the physical address for the event. If it was online, all you have to do is click online. And if you use Zoom, you click this little button, and we set up all the work behind the scenes. So you just sign in. It'll create the links. It'll do all of that stuff for you. And if you don't use Zoom, you can just paste in whatever service you use. If it's Teams or Google Meet or whatever, and then you could add in the rest of that information. But I'll assume it's in person, and I'll say, if I wanted to set up tiered pricing, which would be kind of similar to tickets, I would just click on this little button down here, and I could say these are the tickets. And I could say, you could choose whether you want clients to enter any amount. This is if you're doing a sliding scale. If you don't want that and you want them to be actual tickets, you just turn this off. And you could say, ticket 1 is going to be, let's say, $10. And then I could say ticket 2 is going to be 15. And then I would just keep adding these in for however many tickets you had. And again, you could add discount codes if you needed to. And then once I added all of this, I would hit done. And then down here, depending on which plan you're on, you can always decide if you want to pass on or absorb the fees. But we have one plan where there's no fees, no transaction fees from us. There's still credit card fees because we don't have the power to. I wish I had a magic wand to waive credit card fees, but I don't. So you can decide. So in this case, let's say I'll just absorb them. And then I go ahead and hit create, and it'll create that event. You'll see it pops up right there. So now if I look at it from the student view, if I go back to the website, and there it is on the 14th, so it's already listed. And if I click on that, I could send this page like right here directly to the students, right? And it would show them, oh, here's the location, here's how to get the directions. And you could add in the description, this is a class at a brewery where we'll do some yoga, and then afterwards stay and socialize. So you could change all the images and the pictures. And then when I hit register, if I have a package, it'll default to recognizing that. So that's what it's doing here. But if I do a credit card payment, it'll show me the tickets. So, and I think I added a 0 there. I should have deleted that. But you can then choose the ticket, and then you would hit, it'll ask you to put in some credit card information. I'll do it as fake information. Don't worry, this is not real credit card data. We do really protect that, but it'll show you how it works, so you can see it. 95969, and then I go ahead and hit register, and it'll process this payment at that ticket price. And then it'll give a little pop-up page and say, you're confirmed. It sends a confirmation email. You can add it directly to their calendar. It gives them directions to the event, and you can set up custom text message or email reminders if you wanted to for that event. So that's one example of how you could, and you could see I just did that in a matter of minutes, right? So that's how you could do that using OfferingTree. There's also a lot of other systems out there that would allow you to do ticketing and things like that. So all those are options.
Oh, that's so helpful. Madeline had a similar question. I'd also like to know about ticketing and limiting class size, as well as how OfferingTree integrates with Zoom. And Madeline, I don't know if that helped to see Alex going through that, or if you have other questions. And Alex, I'll let you for sure show if there's anything else.
Yeah, I can show you. So I'll use the same example. So if I go back in here, we have a series of sort of advanced options. So you can limit the capacity. So this is where you would say there's 15 or 10 people. If you wanted to require a waiver that people had to sign to join the event, you would just, so like, let's say I wanted to limit this to 15 people. I wanted to require a waiver. We have default waivers. You can create your own waiver. I would turn that on. I can also set a registration window if I want to limit, when people can register for the event. And then I can customize the registration notifications. I can say, when am I going to send them out? And if it's an email, I can add in a subject line. I can type the message. I can even add an attachment. I can preview it. And I can set all this stuff up in advance, so I don't have to remember to send it out. And you can send it as days, hours, minutes. You can specify the parameters before and even after the class. So if you wanted to send a follow-up email or a follow-up text after the class, it said, hey, thanks everyone for coming. Super great. Here's a handout I wanted you all to have, or here's some additional information for an upcoming event. You could set all of that up in advance, and the system will take care of that for you automatically. And you do it all within the system. And so that's the advantage. That's how we're trying to have this be all in one, is that you could say, like, welcome, and you would put in all this information, and it would then automatically send that information out. So these are, and if that feels too overwhelming, that's why we have this hide additional registration, so you never have to see it. So when you're ready for it, you can click and open it, and it's there. And then in terms of the Zoom integration, if you were making it a Zoom class, or if it was both in-person and online, like you wanted to have both options, I could leave the in-person address, click online event, and then if you do use Zoom, you just click this little box, sign into Zoom. It takes care of the rest, and you just put what you want people to click on to join my class, and you click done, and that's it. And it does all the back end work. And then when you log into Zoom, it'll show you that it created the meeting. It'll show you all those settings. And if you wanted to tweak any of that, you could log into Zoom. But if you don't ever want to have to do that, you could just do it all from here, and it'll work.
That's amazing. So Antelope Yoga says, brilliant. Thank you ever so much. And Madeline said, that's really great. And there's also a couple of people here have said, this is along the same lines. So one person, let me check here. Jennifer shared this, a website. I purchased my website before I knew OfferingTree existed. I wish I'd known. I would have gone through OfferingTree, but they make it easy to integrate my offerings from OfferingTree to my website. And then also someone is asking, Tiana's asking, what are the benefits of having both a website and OfferingTree? And this is something I have. Like, I have a WordPress website, but we just used OfferingTree for a workshop that Tristan Katz was doing with us to do all of the behind the scenes, like the Zoom integration, the emails that would go out before. So do you want to tell some of the other benefits, Alex? Or how do we know when we get to that spot? I have a website. Why would I also need OfferingTree?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think our aspiration is to eventually get to the point where that question you wouldn't even need to ask, so that you could basically say, "Oh, I can do everything." I mean, that's our goal, is to really be an all-in-one everything system. I'd say today, right now, though, the reality is, as I was sharing before, if you want a lot of these like very advanced design features, and you want to be able to do these really complex setups with a website. As of today, we're not there yet. Like, we're going to be releasing these new design features. We'll be constantly improving and adding to it. So I think it's not very far off that we'll be able to do probably 80 to 90% of what you would do on most website builders directly within OfferingTree. But if, as of like right now in this moment, I would say that's one of the reasons you might want to have a website and OfferingTree. If you're just like, I really want to change the design and do all these other things, we're working on it, but we're not there yet. The other reason I would say is, Shannon, exactly as you described, which is that if you spend a lot of time and energy and money building a website, then you're not going to want to just ditch that overnight, because you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into developing it, and you want to make sure that you still use it. So I can give you an example. This is a user of ours. It's actually a very sweet story, because this is a yoga studio that's a cooperative. It was one of the reasons why we developed OfferingTree, and this is many, many years ago, so almost 7 years at this point. And the sweet part of the story is that they shut down, as so many studios did during COVID, and they reached back out to us and they said, "Hey, we know you guys got started, because of some of the problems we ran into the studio. Where are you guys at now? Can you help us?" And we said, "Yeah." And within 2 days, they were up and running with all of their online offerings, and they made it. They like survived because we were able. So the reason I'm showing this is they have a very beautiful site that they spent a lot of time and money. This complex video banner that shows the studio, right? This isn't us. So this is another website. I think this is Squarespace is the provider they use. But the class package, all of this stuff, that's us. We're powering all their behind the scenes. So if you go to their classes and their their schedule, for example, if you take a look, all of this is still Squarespace, even this. And then if you scroll down here, this is us. But you wouldn't know it because it seamlessly integrates with the website. So we built it to seamlessly integrate so that it just works on their site. And the other nice thing is that when you interact with this, you stay on their website. We don't take you to another landing page. So you can do all the registration and the flow, even registering directly on the site. And I won't actually register because this is a real thing, but you can see they're using a tiered pricing. So pay it forward, cover your costs, use it as an assist, because that's their mission and value as a cooperative. And so then I could do this. It would pop up the credit card form. I register, and it stays entirely on their site. So that's how you can do both. And if you want to have your own website with us or integrate it into a beautiful website that you created. So, and I also like being able to highlight them because they're really cool. So check out Yoga Soul as a cooperative.
That is really cool. Thank you for showing us that example. Tiana, I want to know if that was helpful, or if you have any other questions about having both a website and OfferingTree. And always, if you are a yoga teacher and you don't have a website, please check out OfferingTree. It's one of the best things that you can do for your business, and you can set it up in literally 10 minutes. I went and did that myself. Okay, so free state of mind, sup yoga. I think we answered this well, but let me know if there's anything else. Does OfferingTree integrate with WordPress? Yes.
Yep.
And I don't know if this has been discussed late coming in. That's fine. It's a good question.
Yep. And 2 seconds, I can just show you because I haven't showed you this. So like if you wanted to integrate, for example, like that schedule that Yoga Soul did, on all of our pages, if you click on embed on this site, this will give you the code for WordPress or whatever service you're using. And we even allow you to set parameters here. So if you wanted to show, for example, events by week first, or if you wanted to show something different or limit the number of events that are displayed, it'll customize the code. And then you would copy this and put it into whatever service you're using. And the other thing is that if you're not quite sure how something works, a lot of us are educators. This is part of our public benefit mission. So if you click on Learn More, there's a video that walks you through exactly how that feature works. And so we have it both in video form and written form, depending on what you need. And you can always chat with us, real humans, by just hitting help, and you'll get a real human.
Yes, I know, because I've asked questions. Free State of Mind Sup Yoga says questions answered, beautiful integration, and love it. Also, someone asked a great question here. Would you please talk a little bit about storing students' data?
Mhm. Yeah. So it'd be helpful to know a little bit more about the question. Like, is it in terms of GDPR? Are we talking about other student data, retention rates? I mean, so basically what we do is we're like most systems, which is the system will keep the data, the registration data, for you to be able to view, and it also allows the student to view it. So this is an important part around some data principles, and I can show you this. So if you go here on our site, there's actually the option for the user to see what data is in the system by clicking User Dashboard. And when they click that, they have a dashboard to show everything that they've interacted with on your site. And so the part of this is really important because, like, if you had a student that wanted to say, I no longer want you to have this information, please delete this, like, you can, get those sort of privacy requests. They have access to see what information does OfferingTree store. And this is basically at registration, purchase package, membership. So like I can go through and see, okay, as a student, this is everything I've bought. I can see even the memberships that shows, okay, I have an active membership. When was it charged? Here's all the times it was charged. Oh, you know what? I want to cancel that. So as a student, I'm empowered to cancel that membership. Same thing with if I needed to update my account information, I could say, okay, here's my image. If you don't want an image, you don't have to put an image, but they can, because it'll help you, right? If you have images of your students, first name, last name, they can add a phone number. They can even change their password themselves. Payment data, that we don't store that's stored by Stripe, because we want to make sure that it's got all of their protections, but they could edit, and that would edit the record. So from a kind of a student data perspective, we want to show students in their dashboard what the information is that we have, so that if they need to change something or alter something, they can see it and do it themselves. Or if they say, I just want you to delete all this stuff, then you can go in and delete the records. And yeah, so that's sort of how we try to approach it. I don't know if that helps. I'm not sure if that's answering the question. I'm sort of taking
That's
a
so
guess
great.
here.
Madeline says yes, registration data. And I love the waiver. How is the waiver stored?
Yeah. So the waiver is stored. I can show you that in our system. I'll go back into the teacher view. So we have, oops, I went and clicked on the wrong button. Give me a second. Manage your site. There we go. Down here in waivers. So if you click on waivers, it'll show you the dates. It'll show you the waiver. It gives you the details, and it'll take you to kind of look at the text of it itself. You can delete the waiver. You can edit the text of the waiver. And if you click into, like, let's say the default waiver, it'll show you the name of the person. And if you ever needed to know who that was, you could click on this to see their record, the date they signed it, and what version they signed. So it gives you the version stamp of the waiver. And so that's all found just within the waiver section here. And so you can create multiple waivers. You can even have waivers for online events. If you're doing like an on-demand course, you can apply a waiver. If you're doing it in person or online, you can create different waivers for your different events. If you're doing like a retreat versus a class series, and we do have default text. So if you like edit this waiver, it'll put in this text here that says I voluntarily agree, and you can change all of this if you want to, and then you would save it, and it would create a new waiver for you. And we
That's
have some people that
amazing.
like to send attachments. So that's another option. If you had like a form that you wanted, a longer form, 3 or 4 pages that you need somebody to sign, you would just do that by going into the schedule, and then whatever the event is, like let's say this gentle flow again, I could go down and actually set it up so that the first email they get, I could say, this is waiver, please review and sign the attached waiver. I would drag the PDF of the waiver here, I would set it up and it would automatically send that to the student to say, I need you to, so if you needed a longer form, we try to do both. You can do one, that little text where it's immediately in line as they're registering and they can't proceed with the registration until they agree to your waiver, which is that waiver function. If you need more flexibility in a long form waiver, you can do it this way.
That's great. Madeline says, yes, that's great. And Free State of Mind Yoga said, do you have Facebook or Instagram integration buttons?
We have a couple of things that you can do. These are really good questions. So I'll try not to overwhelm with a lot of options because again, this is really speaking to how we try to make it flexible but simple. So we have this integrations feature. So if you're using us as the website builder, you'll see this little tab here that says integrations. And what you can do is you can add as many integrations as you want. Sometimes you need to add special code, like if it's Instagram or whatever, to validate your site or your account. You'd click on this to add it. If you want to add something specifically to a page, like let's say you wanted to integrate your Facebook feed on your page, you can just say, I'm going to call this Facebook feed. And then I'm going to cut and paste the code. I'm going to save it. And then when I go to build my page, I can just say insert Facebook feed, and then it inserts that into the page wherever you want it, and then it'll show it up on the page. So if we don't offer something that you want to use, you can do that. We also have it set up so that if you go to the website, if you click on one of these events, there will be all of these options to share them. The event to these different platforms. So students can post them directly from the event. And then the last thing that we have is you can actually link in your profile setting, you can put in all of these and these will show up then on your site. Like if I enter this, it'll then show these as options to click on your site. So you can either integrate it directly on the page and have the feed come in for people to see it, or you can have it as little options for people to click on, in the footer of your site, or you can give the option to share it to people as they're looking at your events, if they wanted to share it to Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. So hopefully,
that's great. I love these questions that are coming in. Alex and I were like, we'll just talk about online yoga and what OfferingTree or new features there are. And these questions are making it. Here's another one. Do you have YouTube or video tutorials to teach us technicalities to run the site?
Yes, definitely. We have a whole bunch. And also one of the things we do, it's a value of our company, is we're a learning community. So often we'll invite Shannon and others, Amanda McKinney, Amanda Kingsmith, to come on and to share their expertise to our audience in these webinars. So we have monthly webinars that are free. They're totally free, that you can join and check out. Amanda Kingsmith just a couple weeks ago did a whole free course for us on on-demand videos and like how to think about them, how to price them, how to use them, and then how to use OfferingTree to build them. So we're going to continue to make courses. And I don't know, Shannon, if you're interested, we'd love to have a course. If I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if you're ever interested, we'd love to have you do a course that we could host. And we constantly try to partner because that's one of our values. So we're trying to be a learning community. And as I think I showed before on the site, all of the pages will have these little, so like if I was like not sure how to use the scheduler, for example, you click learn more and there's a step-by-step tutorial video. Or let's say I didn't quite know how to use the store, then I could click on this and there's a tutorial video that walks you through how to use the store. And there's also these help articles that we link to, so you can see that. So we are educators at heart, which is why we try to, give you the option to see it, to read it, and to do it.
It's so true. I love how you're doing all kinds of workshops. Like Meg Casebolt, who is an SEO expert, came and did a workshop that I attended. Like I learn from OfferingTree all the time. So if you also have something that you've figured out, reach out to them if you think that you have something that yoga teachers could really benefit from. Free State of Mind says, that's neat. Thank you. Last one. What about a book now button widget feature for Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, so you can. This is the sneak preview that I was showing before. If
You heard
um,
it here, Connected Yoga team.
That's right. We're getting the first live demo of this. I'm sure the engineering team is like, "What is he doing?" But let me show you. So if you go into the pages again, if I create a page, and I'll use this just as an example template. I can go ahead and select this template. And then if I wanted to add in like exactly book this time or book now or whatever I wanted to do, I can actually edit this button and I can put in the link directly to where that button goes. So it can be an internal offering tree link, or it could be to whatever you're using that you want to use. And then you can customize it so that it either opens in a new tab, right? It takes them to that thing immediately. So you can create the button action to be whatever you want it to be. And then stylize it in terms of, like let's say I wanted it to be book now and maybe not all caps because that feels a little too like shouty. And then I could make it centered and, change the padding and who knows what else. And then I would go ahead and hit confirm. And then there's my book now button. So this will be releasing very soon. We're just quality testing it right now. And so this is like, you heard it here first.
That's so good. Madeline is asking, do you have an example of the email a student receives when they sign up for a virtual Zoom class? I knew what you meant, Madeline. Not a zoo class, but a Zoom class. Do you have a sample email that people would receive?
Yeah, I do. Let me see if I can. The easiest thing is I'm going to switch here. This will be a test of my my skills to navigate multiple windows. Give me 1 second.
No
And
problem. I'm so curious, Madeline, and everyone here, what type of yoga are you teaching? Are you using Zoom integration right now? I'd love to know from the people who are here live. Also, Alex, I do have an email that I got when I
that'd be
signed up for
great.
my own.
Yeah. So let's use that. I'm like hunting around, like, where's my email? So if you
Um,
have one, I can probably find one. But if you've got one handy, that would be great.
sure, I will look for it. And then let's see if I can find another question. Oh, Free State of Mind Sup Yoga is saying like they meant on your system to link like on Facebook or Instagram. I've seen this where there's like a book now button on Facebook and then it would link directly to OfferingTree. Is that something that's available?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know off the top of my head, but the technical team probably would. I mean, if is the idea that like the book now button on Facebook then just redirects you to an offering tree site? That's the yeah, I'm in on the system to link to our offering tree. I'm not sure I totally follow, but I would say reach out. And this is for anybody. You can get us by just emailing support@offeringtree.com with that question. And I don't know, but I can find out.
Yeah, I've seen this on Instagram as well, where there's the book button and you can link it to certain scheduling things.
My sense is that if they allow you to link it to anything, our system will be able to do it. Because if it's just you're dropping in a link, so let me see if this answers it. I'm going to hazard a guess here. So if I go, for example, let me go back to my website here. I'm hopping around a lot. And this is going to take a second to load because it's a staging site. Give me 1 second. But let's say I had this is if you're doing individual appointments. So you can pull. Let's see. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, so this will work. I can show you. I don't know if Shannon, yeah, thank you. So this is like if you had an individual calendar of bookings that you wanted people to book one-on-one appointments. And this one I set up as, I think, massage or something, but you could set up as anything. And what it allows is for the student to, pick their time. And again, if they have a package, it'll default to telling them, oh, you've got a package, you got 4 credits remaining. Or if they just want to enter a credit card, they would enter their credit card and go through it. But my guess is what you could do is you could actually take this page right here and link and drop that in as wherever it says book now on Facebook or Instagram, point it to this page, and then students will land directly on this booking page. We also have the ability to embed this booking page. So you could potentially embed it on, if you had another site, you could embed this whole booking widget, on your site. So hopefully that answers it. That's my best guess. But if I didn't answer it, reach out and I'll try to get clarity on it.
That's great. I'm so curious now because Free State of Mind Sup Yoga says online courses, live yoga, Zoom, workplace, and Sup Yoga. I'm guessing Sup Yoga doesn't happen via Zoom. But that's just a complete curiosity question of mine. What happened to our Sup Yoga teachers who were trying to move online? So many challenges that yoga teachers have faced. Does anyone else have questions? I'm looking for this email.
I found an email, so I think I can
Oh,
share.
okay. Okay.
So let's see. I'll have to reconfigure so I can see what you're seeing as well. Oh yeah. Okay. So there you should
Yeah.
be able to see it. So you can. We have sort of text that's included here, but this little join the class button is what I set up as the text or the link for. You can customize that. So you could say like join the Zoom room or whatever. And then this is the button that they click on. And so it'll send them the thank you for signing up. If you wanted to customize the message, you can, when I was in that customize feature, you can customize a whole bunch of text that would go in here that would make it personal. And then it includes the receipt for them. It includes the kind of the button. If they need to get in contact with you, they just hit reply and it'll go back to you. The nice thing also is that we built the system so that it doesn't share your personal email address. So whatever email address you use for the account, it's kind of like Craigslist. If you like email somebody at Craigslist, it masks the email, and then I'm dating myself, Craigslist. I love Craigslist, but anyways, it'll mask the email so you don't, it doesn't show you your personal email address, but it goes directly to your inbox. So the student could just hit reply and you'll see the email in your inbox. You could reply, but it won't give them your personal email address. So we try to, because as a teacher, I don't want everyone to have my personal email address. I want to be in contact with students, but I don't want to be giving out my email address to every single student I've ever interacted with. But I want them to be able to get in touch with me and know that it'll come to my inbox. So that's how we have it set up. I don't know. Does that answer this sort of, so you can, that's what it generally looks like. It'll have whatever your logo is and your branding and, yeah, and then it'll tell them what it shows up on the credit card as. So down here. So if they ever get questions, it says it'll show up as this on your credit card statement.
So handy. So handy. Madeline saying that is so awesome. And also saying, I teach virtual yoga over Zoom and do everything piecemeal right now, which is very time consuming and is keeping me from growing. More students means more work right now. I get it, Madeline. I'm curious if you have any questions. And now's the time to ask Alex, like, how could my life be easier as a yoga teacher? I think this is Eddie popping in to say we don't have a direct integration with Facebook and Instagram yet to provide a book now button that will automatically book on OfferingTree. So
cool. Well, there's the answer. Thank you, Eddie. That was the technical question that I couldn't answer. So there you go.
And Free State of Mind Sup Yoga says no Zoom Sup Yoga. Okay, but there are Sup Yoga instant downloads coming out soon. That's really cool. This is the one thing yoga teachers have become very, what's the word? Like so I'm blown away by the ingenuity of yoga teachers in this time. Antelope Yoga is saying, can you add paid access to an audio file, a guided meditation, for example? Ooh, this is a great question.
Yeah. Yes. So let me show you. Let's see if I can do this in real time. Give me a second here. I'm opening up all these windows. Okay.
I love that you're doing this in real time to show how quick it is.
I mean, it's literally like, okay, let's do it. So here's an example. This is our store feature. And so just to clarify, our store feature is really, it's a digital store. So we don't do physical goods. We do get that question every once in a while, like if I want to sell t-shirts or things, we allow you to integrate with physical goods, but the store is really a digital store. So if you're doing video libraries, courses, access to meditations. And so I think I've actually done this before. Let me just look. My videos, my course. So this is our sort of like course builder. You can set up a whole bunch of options, customize the images, the call to action, if you need a waiver, sliding scale tiered pricing. But here's a really cool option down here. Because this is an all-in-one system, everything talks together. So if you wanted to make this a video library that was exclusive to your members or package holders, you just check this little button that says only members can access this. So it's not available a la carte. It's a special member exclusive. And then the neat thing is you can modify, you can say all members get it by default, all members and package holders, or only people with this membership, 180-day membership plan, get access to this, or only people with the coaching package or the everything package get access to this. And then you hit OK, and it'll limit it so that as a member, they will see the option that says enroll or view or watch, and it's like a member perk. If I also wanted to make it available for a la carte purchase, so people that weren't members, I just check this. And so now, since I have this checked on, it means that it can be purchased as a standalone item for $95. But if you're a member, you get it as a member perk for free. And so the question about adding, I'll save these changes. About adding content is when I go in here, I can add in guided meditations, instructor videos. I can even put in welcome text if I wanted to. And when I go to preview it, it'll show all of that information here. So here's the guided meditation, and they can play it right there. And it also works on a phone. So again, I'll try to do this in real time. If I show this in developer tools, it puts it right in there in a phone. So here's a video. If I had a video that they wanted to, watch, they could put it right there. And if it was the guided meditation, I could put it right there, and they can adjust the audio settings and, do all that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for showing that. And yeah, Eddie was saying, yeah, you can create online store, audio files, PDFs, videos, etc. I did this exactly last night. Connected Yoga Teachers. I uploaded our replay video, a PDF that Tristan Katz had put in there. There was an image that everyone wanted. I could have put the audio in there, which I'm thinking I might go and do, because audio only is really nice if you're on the go. And although there's a lot of graphics that go with the thing, and then also being able to put text in there. So there were so many things that we talked about in the chat. So I took each link and put it in the text, and I just feel like everyone who gets a replay now can see the timestamp. Like Zoom captures all that. So I feel like I want to show you all what it looks like. Let me know. Here are the other things that people said about yoga teachers. They're really creative, versatile, and flexible. These are all words that I would say, yes, this is what yoga teachers have been able to be in this time. Nafai says, is there any way that you can upload pre-recorded yoga tutorial videos and make it a membership access?
Yep. So that was what I was just showing. So it's essentially when you go into your item in the store. So you would just go down to the store, and you could set it up as a video library, or if you said, like tutorial videos or whatever you wanted to call it. And then when you're setting up that item, you simply would go down here, you'd uncheck the accept online payments, and you can just check only available to members. And then you can say it's to all your members, or you can choose specific members. And so this, again, is the power of the system, because all the features talk together and work together. So like your membership talks to your store item, which talks to your payment processor, which talks to, so you don't have to figure out how to make all that work. You just click a couple of buttons and say, it's only my 90-day, 100-day memberships that get access to that. And then you can even restrict it if it was like a limited time, if you wanted to make it available for a month, a year, 6 months. So it's more like a rental. You can do that as well. So lots of options.
That's amazing. Free State of Mind Sup Yoga says, we meditate with a quiet mind. Our ideas come to us. The secrets of yoga we love to share with everyone. This is true. This is why yoga teachers are so creative and versatile and flexible and inventive with their ideas. Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. Alex, thank you so much for being here today and answering all of these questions. If our connected yoga teachers have more questions, I highly recommend just reaching out to the team at OfferingTree. I love that you have something on your website where it's just like, book a call with us and we'll let you know if this is good. Like, there are not many companies that are telling us to do that right now.
No.
Also, we have a coupon code for all of our listeners.
Yes.
OfferingTree.com/Shannon will get you a discount. Is there anything else Alex, that you think our yoga teachers need to know as they're moving things online? Because it can be super overwhelming, like all of the tech and all of the, Zoom integration and websites and
Yeah.
emails.
Yeah, the part that I would say, two things I would share, maybe just in closing, is that the first is like whenever you feel that feeling of being alone, like I've had that feeling where I feel like I got the weight of the world on my shoulders and I'm sort of like, I don't know what to do. I feel alone. I feel like I don't know even who to reach out with. And I feel like I've got a kind of long laundry list of things that I don't even want to look at because I get overwhelmed every time I look at it. That's exactly what we are trying to solve at OfferingTree. We don't want you to have that feeling. So we've got Facebook group, we've got support, we've got articles, we've got videos, we have all of our wonderful partners like Shannon and others, and we're trying to create this really rich, inclusive, inviting learning community so that we can all share and learn together and grow. And that leads me to my second point, which is that like actually having you online, and as painful and difficult as it is, really, really matters. And so thank you for all the hard work and effort that you're putting in. I mean, another part of my job, I do research, and I look at things like anxiety and depression and, other conditions. And there's so much. We had a 2 to 3 time increase during this pandemic in anxiety and depression and other mental health issues. And yoga and meditation and all of this, it helps and it's needed, and there's not enough available out there right now to meet all the needs. And so being able to find ways to help you get online quickly and feel confident, like, oh, I can do this myself. Like the biggest success that we have is when somebody comes back to me and says, I was so scared. And now I'm like, yes, I can do this. I can send an email. I can change this. And we're like, yes, that's what we want, because we want you to feel empowered, so that the technology is always in the background and what you do and love and care about is in the foreground. And so that it's not blocking you. The technology isn't hindering you. And so that would be my last thought. What you do matters. And if we can't do it, that's okay. Ask us and we'll try to point you to something else that'll help you do what you need to do. And because we want you to get online because it makes a difference.
That's amazing. I've heard so many good things about the Facebook group. I'm in there and sometimes I forget to check that first. Honestly, I'm the type of person who just reaches out in the chat to ask me questions,
That's
but I
good.
hear great things about the Facebook group. Nafai, I'm not going to skip over your question here because it's a really good one. What will happen if you cannot maintain the premium plan of OfferingTree? Is the content preserved? What happens to your content then?
That is a really good question. I don't know, Eddie, are you still in the chat? I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's still preserved unless you tell us to delete it, which you can do. It's the same data privacy thing. So if you tell us, please delete my data, we'll do that. But absent that, I think it preserves it. And then if you want to, like shut it off and come back to it, you can do it. But I don't want to make the final call on that because that's a very technical question. So Eddie, I hope you're still in the chat and you're able to answer, but I feel fairly confident. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay. Woo,
the
that's
data's
better.
preserved. Okay.
Yeah, and then of course,
If
if you
you
want us to delete it,
resubscribe, things will come back to life. Okay,
there you go.
that's so good to know. That's so good to know in case let's say you wanted to take like a year-long vacation and you're off doing your thing or you're coming back, whatever, you can kind of put a pause on things. That's great to know.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, do you want to tell, like, I'm always about like, how much does it cost? And here's the thing with OfferingTree, I feel like it's the most reasonable out of all of the things that do all of this: website, email, Zoom integration, payments. I could be wrong. Prove me wrong.
So I'll pull up, this is the page that you shared. So I'll just show you
Okay.
directly what it is based on that. And so the way we have it set up is that you can pay annually and it's a little bit cheaper if you pay obviously all at once. There's a discount associated with that, versus if you pay monthly. You'll see it's a smaller price here though, because the discount you get is you get 50% off for the first 3 months and then it goes up to its normal price. Same thing here, 50% off and then it goes up to its normal price. Whereas with the annual plan, you're getting 15% discount for the first year on either of the plans. So it's $22 a month is the Essentials plan, which includes everything I showed you, except for it doesn't have text messages. And then there's the transaction fee, which you can pass on or absorb depending on what you want to do with it. So the idea is that we can offer a cheaper plan with a little bit of a transaction fee that you can pass on or absorb. And if you don't want that, you hate transaction fees, then 0% transaction fee. And you get the added bonus of, being able to send text message reminders and remove branding and additional, priority in terms of support and stuff. And that's pretty much it. That's it. Those are the two plans that we offer. And if you compare other services, I would say you want to think about it in terms of everything that you use, because often you have to add this and this and this and this. So initially it might seem like, oh, this other thing is way cheaper, but when I add in this plus this functionality, it adds up to a lot more. And then also thinking about your time, like how much time are you spending hopping between platforms? Those are the two metrics I would point you to: time and money. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. When people are telling me like, "Oh, I'm sending the Zoom link through Gmail and got Venmo set up," I'm just like, "No, like your time is really worth something. Do you want to be doing that?" So that's good. Wow. Thanks everyone for all of your questions. I feel like that really made it what it turned into. And Alex, thank you for just hopping on and answering all of the questions. Also, thank you to Eddie and the entire OfferingTree who's doing so much behind the scenes. When's the new stuff coming out?
Let me ask Eddie. Eddie, are you there? Because one of the things I've learned is never make promises if you're not a developer, because you're not doing the hard work. So Eddie, do you want to chime in on that one? Otherwise, I might say something that...
Come on, Eddie, you're on the spot now. I love it. I love
we'll give
I
him
love
a
that
minute.
you're asking. Nafai saying, thank you, Alex and Shannon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of the great questions, and continue to ask. You can ask here in the comments. We've got 2 people inside of our Facebook group who are from OfferingTree. Camille's there, and also Eddie. I don't know if you're in there, Alex.
I
I
don't know.
always tag Eddie. Eddie's probably like, it's like 5:00 on a Friday. Why is Shannon tagging me in this?
No, that's good. I don't use Facebook as much, so I think that's why Eddie's in the group. So.
Okay, so Nafis here from the Philippines at midnight. Thank you for being here so
Thank
late.
you. Thank you for being here. Here we
We
go.
are
Here's Eddie's response.
hoping to release some of it in 2 weeks. More will come throughout the next few months. Okay, this is exciting. So by the end of the year, we'll be seeing a lot of things coming. Thank you so much, Alex, for all that you do. Thank you for assuring us that there's a community of support and learning. That Facebook group that you have isn't just for people who have signed up with OfferingTree, is it? Like anyone can join that Facebook group, can't
No,
they?
I think the Facebook group is just for users, but
Oh,
we
okay.
have a bunch of other things, and I'll put this in here. We have monthly webinars, so if you just go to our site and sign up, there's a little pop-up. That's how to get connected. And so we have a very active community. So like I said, once a month we have webinars. We also are going to be offering additional ways to sort of connect, and we try to do a lot of things like this where we'll partner with our partners to try to provide support and education. So lots of ways to connect with us. And we're always open to fresh ideas and new ways to do it. So let us know. But
yeah, Connected Yoga Teachers, definitely check it out. And we also try and share in the Facebook group every once in a while when there are things happening, when there are trainings and things, and they're free for you. So I would say definitely sign up. Oh my gosh, look at this. I just published my OfferingTree website an hour ago. Thank you, Alex and team.
oh, thank
This
you.
is Marcy. I love it. Make sure you put a link to it in the comments here so that we can go and check it out and cheer you on. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.